showing off his piece of graffiti he picked up last night.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I got a piece. I'll show you. I got a piece of confetti off the floor from last night.
Graffiti,
Exciting.
confetti.
Yeah.
Same thing, right?
Graffiti, yeah.
All right,
College was a
Coach.
long time ago.
Oh, it's been a while, but you have fresh eyes on this team. You did this last year. What's kind of your approach going into this year, and what you want to accomplish?
Well, I mean, what we want to accomplish is win another gold medal. I mean, that's the standard when you put USA basketball on your chest. So I'm a little bit more comfortable with the process. I'm a little more familiar with some of the players. Obviously, Mark and Eric were on our team last year, so I know those guys well, and some of the other guys, obviously Cody. I'm more comfortable with the process. I also know that the price of poker is going up, so to speak, in the World Championships. The competition level is going to be a lot higher than it was in the Americas last year in Mexico, and so we better be ready for that challenge, and we're not going to take anything for granted. Gold medal.
It seems like there's a good balance from the 3 different classes that you guys have, and talent-wise, from the 24 down all the way down to the guys that were freshmen last year and the guys you had that you mentioned that were on last year's team. Does that kind of help just kind of get a sense of the group as a whole, just because of difference in age as well?
It's interesting because we had 16-year-olds in camp and 19-year-olds in camp, so and everywhere in between. So it's there's a lot of range in skill, a lot of range in body types, a lot of range in age, and but the one thing that is constant is they're all talented guys. They wouldn't be invited to camp. So it's just trying to find. I would say when to get down to 12, it's not always finding your 12 best scorers, or your 12 best rebounders, or your 12 best defenders. You got to find the 12 that work together and balance each other out and complement each other. And obviously, you need big guys, you need wings, you need guards, you need ball handlers, shooting, you need defenders. So, yeah, you try to balance all that out and come up with the best team possible. And so it's not always the 12 best players or best scorers that are making the team. And that's it's a really hard process. But once you get down to 12, that's when the work begins, and we're close to doing it.
With that last kind of round of cuts that's coming, you talked a little bit yesterday about the player selection committee, Matt Painter and company. How much of this decision? I mean, does it come down to you, or is it kind of a committee decision?
Look, there's USA basketballs involved, so it's not just my decision. Obviously, as a head coach, I'll have a say in it, but not the ultimate say. I'm gonna listen to my staff. I'm gonna listen to the USA basketball people. We're all gonna listen to each other, and it's kind of like being a part of not that I've been in the room, but being part of an NBA franchise when you're trying to draft a player, right? I mean, yes, somebody's got to make the call. Sometimes it's the owner, sometimes it's the general manager, sometimes it's the coach. Very rarely, but. So it's here, same thing. It's a collaborative effort. It's not one person. So, and I've got to be a good listener because we've got people with USA Basketball who have a heck of a lot more. I've done it 5 years now. This is my second time at the U19 level, but a guy like Don Showalter over there, he's been working with all these guys since they've been 16 years old, and he's been doing it for years and years and years. So, guys like that. Guys like Michael Brooks, guys like everybody involved with USA Basketball has a lot of experience.
Just looking at Cody Williams, how has he been doing this training camp?
He's been pretty solid. And tonight, this last session, he was by far his best session. He was much more aggressive, and when Cody's aggressive, he's a special player. So. He's shot the ball well. He's a great passer. He's very unselfish. Sometimes maybe he might have deferred a little bit more than I'd like him to defer, but he's just trying to find his way like everybody else. So I'm trying not to overcoach him at this point, but he was really good tonight's session. So
is it good to see him in a setting like this where he's trying to kind of fit in with guys around him, because he's coming into a team that's with you guys up in Boulder, there's a lot. You guys have the majority roster coming back, and he's just kind of trying to fit in. Is it good to see him in that kind of setting as he tries to work his way in with the team?
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking about the team in Boulder, some of the feedback I've gotten from our older guys is they appreciate the attitude that Cody's come in with. Cody's not come in with I'm a 5-star recruit, I'm going to take over, I'm going to, not listen to you guys. He's been very, very respectful of the guys that, now he's only there for a week, right? So, and now he's in a totally different environment with guys more his age and he's trying to fight for a spot. So it's been an interesting probably 2 weeks for Cody. He could probably speak to it better than I can, but coming into Boulder for a week and getting his feet wet there with Coach Englehart, with our staff, and then now coming down here and going through this process. It's I guess it's mentally he might be a little bit drained, but it's what an opportunity.
On a similar note, how valuable is this opportunity just working with Cody one-on-one before you get to Boulder and understanding his game and how he is as a person?
It'll definitely help if he makes the team. It's another 2.5 weeks with him, and so we'll see. But I mean, anytime you're able to be around your players, it's a good thing as a coach, especially in the summertime. So, because as you know, we only get 4 hours a week with him on the court in Boulder. So 4 hours a week is better than nothing, but there's only so much you can get done there. So, but it's great to have him here in the summer, and he's going to benefit from this experience no matter what happens.
We were just talking about Tyler's confetti, not his graffiti, but I know you're not a running through the streets of Lodo kind of fan.
No,
but
I'm not.
You've talked to me about going to Denver Rockets games when you were a kid.
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
They're pretty cool to see the franchise finally get there.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm so happy for the ownership. I'm happy for the management. I'm really happy for Mike Malone. I think he's a hell of a coach. I've really watched him from afar over the last few years, and I just have such respect for him in terms of how he approaches the game, how he handles his team in the media, how honest he is, but yet fair and frank. And I just think the guy's really, really special. And obviously watching guys like Jamal Murray, who, by the way, beat us with a 3-pointer at the Pan Am Games when I was an assistant for Mark Few, and now see him winning a world championship, and obviously Jokic and the team, and to see, I was watching the game last night. David Thompson was in the stands. That was kind of cool, and so, yeah, I remember those Rocket days, and I remember the Doug Moe days, and now we got another world championship to celebrate. So it's great for the state of Colorado.
Yeah, I meant to ask you this yesterday in the conference championship. Derek White's been in the league long enough that I'm not going to call you every time he does something good, but I couldn't help but think of you when he had the buzzer beating put back, and obviously all the threes in Game 5. He kind of helped extend that series. Watching that as his college coach, I imagine there's a lot of pride there.
A lot of pride. I was on the couch with my wife and Pete, our youngest son, and we were watching that game. I actually started a text exchange with Derek's wife, Hannah, at halftime, and said, hey, if this goes to Game 7, I'd like to come out to Boston and bring Pete with me. And she said, absolutely, we'll get you tickets. And then 45 minutes later, Derek tips it in Game 6. I looked at Pete, I said, well, hopefully she can get those tickets because we're going to go to Boston. And we went for Game 7, and we had a wonderful time. Everything was great except for the game. But I was, Miami's deserved to win that. But and we saw Derek afterwards. But I'm really proud of him and the season he had and where he's at. I mean, it's to be with that franchise, with that history, and to do what he did on a big stage was pretty special.
Both those two games kind of showcased his.
Yeah.
I mean, still, the threes, the one
his
in
ability.
Game 5. Coming out of nowhere from the wing to get that rebound was incredible.
He's a baller. Derek White is a baller. I mean, if you can play, you can play. I don't care if you're University of Colorado Springs or CU or the Boston Celtics. He's a hell of a player.
Last thing for
and
me,
an even better human being.
This last thing for me, I mean, this for you, how much do you get out of this personally, just kind of working with Coach Boyd and Coach Rice, all the other coaches you guys have had this week? I mean, how beneficial is it for you, just kind of the experience of talking with all the coaches throughout the week?
It's fantastic. I mean, they're two great guys, two really good coaches that have become good friends. Leon's been a good friend for years. Mike, I've just gotten to know over the last couple of years through this process, but terrific coach, terrific family guy, great for young people to be around. So yeah, I'm lucky to have those guys. We're all doing it together, you know. I've learned a lot. I learned a lot coaching FIBA basketball, coaching these players. So I've always said, you know, as a coach, I've learned more from the players I've coached over the last 30 years than maybe they've learned from me. But I continue to learn.
Do you mind if I ask about Bangot and adding him to the
No, not
roster?
at all.
Just adding him to the roster, what does he bring to the team, and what was that decision to add the kind of a late 2024?
Well,
early on?
what he brings is, you know, a 6'10" body with over a 7-foot wingspan, a guy that can shoot the ball with that size, a guy that can pass the ball, a guy that can dribble the ball. He's got really a high level of skill for a guy his size. The only thing he lacks is the same thing that Cody lacks, and that's strength. And so Coach Englehart's got his job cut out for him now. I mean, he had it. He's got it with Courtney Anderson. He's got it with Cody Williams. He's got it with Hassan Diop. Now he's got it with Bangot Dak. So I have a lot of faith in Steve Englehart, and I know he's great at what he does. And so that allows us to sign guys like Bangot that we know his best basketball is ahead of him. We don't know if that's next year or the year after, but he's going to get in the weight room and start getting after it.
Yeah.
Steve's going to do his thing.
And one last quick one. How valuable is it to get Tristan Da Silva back to the Buffs?
Oh, man. We became a lot better the day he decided to take his name out of the draft.
Yeah.
And Tristan's had an unbelievable spring. Like, to see the improvement that he's made from the end of the season, and it's his work ethic, and it's his focus, and it's his being in the gym every day. I've seen Tristan go from here to here in terms of his work ethic and focus, intensity, really serious about what he's doing. He knows that this is a big year for him, and to me, he's a Player of the Year candidate in the Pac-12. He should be considered for an All-American, type season, because he had a hell of a year last year, and he's going to be better this year.